How do you find a job online if you're an international doctor? Watch this video to find out. Hi there, Anthony the Career Doctor, back with another video to help you manage your career in medicine. So how to find a doctor job in Australia is probably the most popular question I get asked here on YouTube. Now this video is for any international doctor who might be looking for a job in Australia or perhaps already going through the process, specifically if you're applying through the standard pathway or perhaps the competent authority pathway process. But it'll also be helpful to anyone going through the specialist pathway as well. It's about identifying jobs online, and of course there are other ways of finding jobs, particularly say personal approaches to employers. So if you want information about that, you should watch some of my other videos as well. By the way, as always, there will be heaps of notes about what I'm talking about in the description below, as well as a link to a helpful blog post for you. So the first thing that you should do when you're looking for a doctor job online is you should go and register with all the state and territory Department of Health recruitment portals. Each state and territory in Australia has a recruitment portal where they put up all the public sector health jobs, including all the doctor jobs. I'd also recommend that you register with sites like Seek, because these sites act as aggregation portals for all of these jobs, and often the state and territory health department recruitment sites have links into sites like Seek where they pay for Seek to place their jobs as well, to make sure they get to the broadest candidate market as possible. Now most of these recruitment sites also have an alert function when you register with them, so you should check that out and go through that methodically and make sure that you've turned on alerts to go to your email whenever there is a job posting for any type of medical job that you may want. You can usually switch it on to the level of even just medical jobs or possibly even the level of trainee doctor jobs. So you should go through this alert process and turn alerts on. Now in most states and territories, recruitment is centralized through these portals, so it's not necessary to then go to all the individual hospital and health service recruitment sites to identify any more jobs. However, there is one exception. In Victoria, the system seems to be a little bit more decentralized, and whilst there is a central portal for jobs, it doesn't seem like every job makes it to that central portal. There's also a match process which is organised by the Postgraduate Medical Council of Victoria for certain jobs, although these largely don't apply to international doctors. So it's a little bit more complicated, and you probably need to register not only with the central recruitment portal, but as well as many other hospital and health service sites, and be checking those sites as you can. Now, the types of jobs that you're looking for are any sort of job which will accept someone who will need provisional registration. Now, what does that actually mean? So the best position titles to look for are anything containing the word resident, be it resident or resident medical officer, possibly even junior resident medical officer or even senior resident medical officer. These are the posts that are most likely to come up that may well accept a doctor who needs provisional registration. And here, of course, we're talking about anyone coming through either the standard pathway or the competent authority pathway. However, you may occasionally also see jobs with the titles intern or trainee or unaccredited trainee, perhaps even, as I said, senior resident medical officer, or even registrar. These jobs are either going to be less frequently advertised or less likely to be open to doctors who require provisional registration. However, they are worth checking out. In some states, for example Queensland, the positions might be advertised according to the award title, and so that can be a little bit different from the usual intern, resident, registrar. So if you see something like house officer or junior house officer, that's also worth checking out as well. Now to the crucial component. Once you've identified these jobs, the key phrase that you're looking for in any position is this: eligible for registration. You'll probably see this in the selection criteria, and the selection criteria are usually placed at the end of the job advert or the job description. So it's actually worth just scrolling right down to the bottom and finding that, because otherwise you're probably wasting your time reading through stuff when the job's actually not open to you. Eligible for registration indicates that the employer may be willing to consider a candidate from another country. It also means that if they do offer you the job, they will probably assist you in the process of registering through the Medical Board of Australia. If the criteria says something like must be registered or must have current registration with the Medical Board of Australia, then unfortunately you are not able to apply for that position. So as I said, I recommend you save yourself some time and skip to the selection criteria to check out whether the job is actually open to you. Now, As a final comment, you may also see additional selection criteria asking for certain levels of experience or certain years of experience or certain types of experience. Sometimes the employer is happy to accept experience from outside of Australia. So if they just say something like 2 years of experience in emergency medicine, they're generally happy to take that from elsewhere. Sometimes they will go further and qualify that they want that experience to be in the Australian context. Or sometimes they might be specific in the experience they will accept from certain countries, usually the competent authority countries. This is becoming a real problem lately, and actually it's pretty poor HR practice. We should really be talking about whether you're able to do the job, not how much experience you've had in a job before, because that doesn't actually predict your ability to perform very well. This is basically an effort by employers to either cut down on the amount of candidates they might need to interview for a position by excluding certain types of candidates, or perhaps because they already feel that they've got an existing pool of candidates to streamline the process. In any case, you do need to read through all the selection criteria to make sure that you're able to apply. Don't just think because it says eligible for registration that means you. There may be other reasons why you're not eligible. And if you have any queries about whether you are eligible to apply, there should be, and there usually is, a contact person on the job description that you can get in contact with. Normally at least an email, and it is their job and they should respond to you with any queries that you may have. So feel free to contact them and find out. I'd actually be interested in finding out from other doctors who've gone through this process whether you did actually contact someone with a question about eligibility or selection criteria. Did they respond to you? Was it a good response? Was it positive? Or did they not respond, or was it a negative response? Leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear about that. And while you're there, leave a like if you like this video, and subscribe and turn on notifications, and I will see you in the next video.